Again. Um, Expert report is what we are about to discuss. That's the topic of today. Expert report. The final part that a fingerprint examiner plays in the forensic service is that of testifying in court to the findings of his examination to give expert opinion. To give expert opinion. What is expert opinion? An expert opinion is a belief or judgment about something given by an expert on the subject. I repeat again. An expert opinion is a belief or judgment about something given by an expert on the subject. In fact, the purpose of expert report is to set out the expert's opinion on matter within his expertise that he has been instructed to report on. The ultimate of the report is to inform the court on matters outside its expertise and on which it has to reach a decision in order to resolve the dispute before it. And that one will bring us to a question. Who is an expert? An expert is a person with extensive knowledge or ability based on research, training, experience, or occupation in a particular area of study. In every country, there is always a criteria or condition by which any form of evidence can be admissible in the court. But in Nigeria here, the Nigeria Section 68 of the Nigeria Act 2011, the Section 68 of the Evidence Act 2011 allows for expert evidence in the identification of fingerprint impressions. So this provision addresses the admissibility of such evidence in legal proceedings. But generally speaking, we have tests for admissibility, but because of our time, I will just mention about 3 of them. And for the fact that you yourself you are in that arena, you are a lawyer, so I will not want to go too deep into it. But just let me just mention about three tests for admissibility. The first one I will mention is relevance. Relevance. The expert testimony must be relevant to the case and help the court understand the evidence of determining a fact. Then number 2 that I will mention is reliability. Reliability. The methods and principles used by the expert must be reliable and generally accepted within the relevant scientific or technical community. So, because this is a science, it's not an abracadabra thing. So if I do whatever I do there, if another person is to cross-examine my work by doing the same thing, he or she must be able to get the same result. So, number 3, qualification. Qualification. The witness must be duly qualified. This qualification can be acquired through formal or informal training, like what we are doing now. And there are some people that what they do is that they will just like apprentice work with an examiner in an office. So after a period of time, they understand what the examiner is doing, they can do the same thing, and whatever the the experience they were able to accumulate through that form of training, that form of education, also can make them to become experts. Because you get to a stage that they too can do whatever the one that has been mentoring them, that have been training, giving them the training, able to do what he or she is doing also. So it can be the qualification can be acquired through formal or informal training. And let's go to the type, how many types of expert report that you have. We have written report, and then you have oral. Let me briefly talk about the oral before we go to the written one. Because it is not in every case that you'll be required to appear in the court to come and give oral report. Now, the oral report is when you are when the expert, especially the fingerprint expert, is required to appear physically in the court to come and give testimony pertaining to the work that he has done. Now, the best thing for such a fingerprint examiner is to go with a projector, a laptop, or a system, or any device that can be connected to a projector and a screen. And this will help you to demonstrate whatever you have done, the analysis, the comparison, and this thing. By the time you show them, especially when you are when you have when there's a case of two fingerprint not matching, so this can be easily demonstrated on the screen, and you can tell them this after intimating them or educating them that there's no two people with this, where there's no single finger, no single finger, I mean no two fingers can have the same type of the same fingerprint, can have the same impression, that the impression of every fingerprint is unique to it. Even from the same man, a man with all the 10 fingers that you have, you can't have a print that is the same in two fingers. Every print will be unique to each finger, even of the same man. So when you lay foundation of that one, then you can now tell them that there are some features in that fingerprint. The features that we are talking about, the all these Gatton points. Then before going to Gatton point, you let them know that the fingerprint, the impression are grouped into three categories: the arch, the loop, and the wall. And each one of these are further classified into several ones. So after that one, briefly, now you move ahead and tell them that there are a lot of features, and these features is another form of identifying each print. So now you can now, through your screen, demonstrate how you did it, so that as you are doing it, if you are able to do it in a concise and precise manner, using avoiding jargon, using a language that each one of them will be able to understand, as you are doing it, as you are explaining it, they can understand to a level that the opposing lawyer will have little or nothing to say against you. So, but it is not in every cases. I mean, it's not in every case that you have to appear in a court. In fact, majority of reports about fingerprint issues require that you send the report in a written form. So let's go ahead to written report. I said the first one is oral report, then we have also written report. Then, generally speaking, what can any good expert report should contain, or let's say what a good expert report should contain. Whether you are given oral report or you are given written report. In fact, in many cases, before you be called to come and give oral report, the written one might have gone before that. Now, let's move ahead. When written an opinion, as a fingerprint expert, consider the following key elements. Before mentioning those, before going through those key elements, I want to tell you that there's no rigid way, there's no one rigid way of written expert report in fingerprint examination. But at least there are some key elements that must be present in your report. So let's move ahead. The first one is qualifications and credentials. Qualifications and credentials. You have to clearly state your educational background, training, and experience in fingerprint analysis or examination. I said you have to state your educational background, your training, and experience. And now we are talking about educational background. The whatever educational background that you have acquired in the time past. For example, if you belong to you have a background of you have criminal justice course as your background or training as your background. Maybe you study criminology at undergraduate, masters, or PhD, that is the third degree, or law. You state it there. Then the training that you have that now qualifies you to be an examiner in fingerprint examination, you state it also. If there's some other training pertaining to investigation, maybe forensic investigation, you also state all those things. So, but what I will advise is this, and the best way that I think it should be done, that's how I do my own. You write the qualification in a separate sheet of paper. In a separate sheet of paper. And it is better to be on the letterhead of your organization. Then you attach it to the back of the last part of the report. So apart from that one, that is the first key element that you consider. The second element that you consider is the methodology. Just describe briefly the methods that you use to collect, analyze the fingerprints, including any tools or technique employed. So that is number two. That is the methodology. At least make sure that you state how you collected it. For example, in most cases, the fingerprint will be brought to your table. To your office. So in that case, or let me say to your lab, in that case, how they collected it from the crime scene is none of your business. How it came in is what we are going to write down. That is, it was brought in by so and so person, so it was brought in or sent in through Mr. So and so by so and so agency or security. Just state it like that, how the thing came in, and let them know whether it was sealed inside the evidence sealed bag, whether it is sealed or not. Let that one be detailed. So, and then another key element is the comparison process. Explain how you compare the latent print to no print. Now, the latent print might have been made enhanced by the investigator who brought it to you, or by the law enforcement agent who brought it to you. or perhaps you are the one you went to the crime scene by yourself and left it there, or perhaps the fingerprint is on a document. So if it is latent print that have been enhanced, so you don't need to go through the process of how they enhance it, unless if you still work on it to enhance it the more. That one you can mention that one. But if it has been enhanced before it was brought to you, then just go straight that it was enhanced latent fingerprint that was brought in, and you state how you work on it. Probably, maybe you did it manually on paper, or you scan them inside the system and use software like Adobe to do the comparison, or perhaps you use a software to do the comparison. Those things you state it there. Then when you are talking about the comparison process, then make sure you specify the features that you examine there, like the ridge patterns. Let them know that the standard, for example, is war or is loop, and the questioned fingerprint, let them know that it is also probably loop. Maybe both of them are loop, or one is a loop, or the other one is a walk. So then you go ahead and talk also about those features that are in standard and also present in the suspected fingerprint, or the question fingerprint, that's now made you to conclude that both of them are from the same source. Or perhaps if they are not from the same source, or they are from the same maybe they are from the same group, for example, both of them are arch or loop, then you go ahead and state those features that are present in the sample A, the standard sample that we also call a sampler, and the sample B, which is the questioned one. So those features that you saw in two of them, that you mark in two of them, that are the same, that are of the same side, the same location, and are of the same distance from one another. So this one will buttress your point when you are making your conclusion. Then you still go further ahead. Another key element after comparison process. Comparison process is a key element. Then your findings is also another key element that you must mention. You have to present your findings clearly, specifying whether the prints match or do not match, or whether what you have is inconclusive. That is, the result is inconclusive. You have inconclusive when one does not have adequate feature to be compared with the other. For example, maybe there are situations where the question fingerprint may not be adequate in quality or in quantity. In quality, maybe most of the lines or features, most of the ridges, the minutiae has been blurred, or they are not present before they brought it in. Or perhaps those features are there, but the one they brought is too small. The area that we are concerned with in comparison is too small to be compared with the other. So that means it's not adequate for comparison. So, or perhaps it is the standard they brought that has been messed up, that is not clear enough, that has been, the ridges are blurry, or perhaps there are some cases that what they brought, you cannot even categorize it into any group, whether loop, ash, or war, and the lines are not okay. perhaps maybe is extracted from a document that the original owner of the document, maybe the man is a deceased. So if they extract it and it's not usable, and the one that is questioned is usable, you cannot still do your comparison. In such a case, what we are going to have is inconclusive. So then you have to state in a concise manner. You have to indicate the level of certainty that you have in your findings. For example, a match is highly probable, or it is certain that these two are from the same source, or these two fingerprints are not from the same source because of so and so reasons. So the certainty level must be stated, must be clearly stated. Then if there's any limitation at all, it's not every time that you have limitation, but if there's any limitation, state it. For example, maybe what they brought to you is a photocopy of many generations that was brought to you. And in that case, some features might have been lost. For example, after several photocopies, it is possible that some features like dots, like island, might have been no more visible. And so maybe the data itself is no more, you can't even see the data again. So such a thing, you have to write it, you have to state it that because of poor quality of the print, then so and so cannot be done. So let the limitation be stated. Let it be stated. So something like there's indication that A and B, or sample A and B, or let me say the standard and the question are from the same source, but because of the fact that the print is of poor quality, it is difficult to say that they are from the same place and the same source. So, but now you have said it that there are indications. So there are indications, but because of limitation of poor quality of the one you are using to compare, or the question, then there's possibility that there may be some other things that may make the result not to be 100% have identification. Leaving this will make it to be on the safe side by the time you are being cross-examined. Now, another key element is clarity and objectivity. Clarity and objectivity. You have to write in a clear, accessible language, avoiding jargon, and maintain an objective tone throughout the report. By addressing all these elements that we have mentioned, it is possible for you to create a comprehensive and credible opinion as a fingerprint expert. Now, let me show us an example. I have a sample of a report on the screen here. Yes, let's look at the report. I told you there's no one rigid way of written report, but Those key elements mentioned. Now,
in every report, make sure you have things. For example, the name of the examiner supposed to be there. The name of the examiner is paramount to be there. You have the name, you have your address, your as we said, the case identification or case identifier. All those things supposed to be there. But also you may just use this method, the one you are looking at, the one you are seeing at on your screen. Now, since you are using, if you are using a letterhead of your organization, all you need to do is you don't need to write the name of your organization again because the letterhead is carrying it. The address, there's no need to write it again because it's carrying it. The letterhead is carrying it. And all other contacts, you don't need all those things because already you have them on the letterhead. In some cases, you address it to the person who requested for it. And in some cases, you may not even address it, but you must make sure that the date is there. Then let's move up. Look at it. You make sure that the name of the person who brought it in is there. And the reason why you are doing the let me read this one to us and see. Though I will still send this to you. A document bearing a question fingerprint was brought in by one Mrs. David Olutayo of 6 Falana Street, Lekki, Lagos. This is not real name or real address. It is just for the purpose of this lecture. So, Lekki, Lagos, to be examined forensically. 2 collected standards of fingerprint from different years, thumb printed by one Dr. Marcus Olawoyin were submitted along with it. We are to determine if the questioned and the standard were made by the same fingerprint. In this kind of a situation, it was on a document. Excuse me. This is on a document, so it's not actually from a physical location of of a crime scene. It was from a document. So the question document was brought in, and there's a thumb printed impression on it that is being questioned. And now we have to request, not before they bring this thing in. You have to tell them when they call you. You have to tell them what they need, what your requirement. So I already require that they should bring, because they told me that the original owner of the document is late. So they have to go and bring from 2 of his documents that we are sure that it was him that produced the document in his archive. They brought them out, and so that this is why collecting 2 of fingerprint of those 2 fingerprints, to be sure that the fingerprint that we are not using are not genuine to compare not genuine, because there are cases like that. There are cases like that where you use a fake to compare fake. Then what you are going to get is fake result. So no, now to make sure that what we are using is genuine, because the man is no more alive. If the man is alive, all we need to do is to take his fingerprint direct from him, is to request for the fingerprint. But we cannot use requested one now. All we need to use, the one we have to use, is the collected one, the one that have been in archive, the one he had made before his demise. So they brought the two in with the question document. So we extracted the fingerprint from the question document. So far it is feasible one, don't need to enhance it again. It's okay. It's okay to be read. So we extracted it. We extracted it and we used one of the standard, because we have discovered that the two standards are the same. They are of the same. They are not against each other. So we took one of them and we now have two. One the standard and the question. So the first thing that we discovered that the after comparison, we discovered that the two fingerprints, both the question and the standard, belong to the same group. That is, both of them are loop. But after thorough analysis, it is discovered that the minutiae are of different locations, orientations, sizes, and features. Therefore, it has been concluded that the no owner of the standard fingerprint, that is, that late Dr. Marcus Olawonyi, did not make the question fingerprint appearing on the question document. So, and that one we carry the signature and the name and the designation of the officer of the examiner that work on it. Now, I said how our analysis must be attached also. Our analysis must be attached. This first page will carry our opinion, but our analysis also must be attached. Now, let's go to our analysis on the second page. Look at it. Now, analysis. The standard fingerprint are seen under the magnifying device. This is the standard. You can see they were marked with different colors to indicate that they are different features. Now, wherever you see green, that green indicates bifurcation. We mark by all bifurcations, we mark them with green color, and we mark ridge ending with yellow color. Then our data was marked with blue, while our core was marked with blue, while our data was marked with red. Then we have green. We have lemon as our island. We have just only one island here. Look at it. This is our island here. So just only one island here. Then we have an area that signifies that the finger of whosoever that made it, that fingerprint had a scar. This indication of scar where you have a little or no ridges. That is scar. So the line there has been eroded. By the time you make an impression with such kind of a fingerprint, or such kind of print, the print, finger, such a print that you have there, we not have complete ridge like this, like you have it here. That's indication of scar. So that scar also can be used for identification. Now, look at where you have our data here. If you look at it very well, and where you have our core, by the time you see the question, you can see that they are not the same. Then we have short ridges also. Short ridges, we use something like another color. We use another color. Brown, light brown. Then we have pink for dots. We have some dots. Where you have dots here are the east side of the print. Now let's go to the question one. Look at it. See, the unknown fingerprint, the unknown is the question one. The unknown fingerprint are seen under the magnifying device. Look at it. You can see what we have here is totally different from, even though the orientation of the ridges, the flow of the ridges are the same. The flow of the ridges are the same. That is, they enter from one side and enter and get out from the same side. That is loop. This is loop. This is also loop. They belong to the same group. But if you look at the minutiae, all the rich features they have, they are not the same. Look at it here, where you have, let's start from the core. In the core here, we have the ridge count that you have. Remember that the ridge count is the number of ridges between the core and the data. So the number of ridges that you have between the core and the data is 11. Is 11 in the standard. But if you go to the questioned, you can see that you have the number of ridges that you have between the data and the data and the core is just 9. And if you go back and look at our data, at our core, they are not the same. At our core, where you have the core, they are not the same. Look at what you have here. But go back, if you go back to that place, you see what you have. Look at this. Look at what you have here. So they are not the same. Now, in that place, here we have what we know as enclosure. Look at enclosure at our right hand here. We have enclosure here, marked with a blue color, light blue color. But on the other side, there is nothing like enclosure here. We don't have enclosure here. What you have here is indication of scar. Indication of scar. Whereas we don't have anything like that here. There's no indication of any scar here. And if you look at the bifurcations, all the bifurcations, apart from counting them, just look at it, you can see that they scatter evenly. The bifurcations scatter evenly. Whereas in the standard, most of the bifurcations are at the lower side of the data. Look at them. They are not as many as that one, and they are the lower side. Then look at the ridge ending. We have so many ridge ending in the standard that scatter all over. Whereas here we have just very few. In fact, we have only one ridge ending that we have. Just few ridge ending that you have. Few of them, and one of them is at the lower part of the core. Whereas here you have so many of them. We have so many of them at the lower part of this is our core. Look at so many ridge ending that you have. This yellow box. Look at so many of them. Whereas here you have just few. We have few of them. This is one. Perhaps we have some here and one here. But at this lower part of core here, we have just only one. Then another thing you see that you have over there. We have over there and we don't have down. Is we have dots. Look at dots that look at highlands. Look at our highland. We have island here. Yes, that's the island is. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is 5. 5 lines after the data. Let's go to 5 lines after the data here. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, there's nothing like data. Like an island here. Only what you have here is overlap. So they are totally different, even though they belong to the same. So this one should be also attached to your report. to explain how you arrived at that conclusion. Now, you still need to explain using a separate sheet. Let's go to that place where we explain description. Now, the method used for comparison. Now, look at it. Both the standard and the unknown samples were scanned at high resolution and converted to gray color with the help of Adobe Photoshop. The standard was analyzed for Gatton point position and orientations. The same was done for the unknown. It was determined that both were adequate in quality and quantity to be compared, because that one must be mentioned, that both of them are adequate in quality and quantity to be compared. So nothing is disturbing your work. Now, furthermore, the two fingerprints, that is the known and the unknown, were placed side by side, and the Gatton points were then marked against each other with different colors. Below are the differences discovered between the standard and the unknown sample. Look at it. The difference between the two fingerprints. The first one, the read count in the standard fingerprint is 11, whereas that of question fingerprint is 9. We have enclosure present in the unknown, whereas the standard has no enclosure. The bifurcations are scattered all over the type area in the standard fingerprint, whereas they are concentrated in the lower part of the unknown. The ridge endings are distributed almost evenly in the standard, whereas they exist only around the data in the unknown. There is indication of relatively deep scar in the standard, which is not existing in the unknown. All the dots are on the eastern side of the data in the standard, whereas the dots are on the southern part of the data in the unknown. And lastly, there is bifurcation on the ridge immediately to the right of the core of the standard, whereas it is not the same in the core of the unknown. So that one has given anybody detail of what should be given. Your report must be able to stand for itself. It must be able to speak for you when you are not there. Any layman must be able to read your report and have no need of calling you to come and explain anything. So jargons must be avoided, and reports must be detailed, but not too much, not too worded. Too worded reports can lead to some other confusion. It must not be too worded. Even when you are coming to give oral report that you need to do demonstration, your display must not be worded. Your display must not be too much of so many things. So just be precise and be concise in whatever information you are giving out. And this chart may help them further in understanding all the terms, like where you have core now. You have explained that the core, as the name implies, is approximate center of the fingerprint impression, the data. And so now you just have this kind of a the charts that is the rich features. You can limit it to those ones that you use. You can have your own, create your own for the program. And if you have a comprehensive one that will be more than what the feature that you mark there, then use it. But it won't be okay if you have a chart that is so small that what you have there, the feature that you explain there is so small compared to what you have on your report. So just have a chart that will list everything that you have, the feature that you have used, or even more than it. So all this one bind together with your credential Your credential, you don't need to, if you have credential of about 3, 4, 5 pages, you don't need to attach those things. All they need is those things that are relevant, what is relevant to the work of investigation, especially fingerprint examination. So you're training, the kind of training that you have now, you attach it. If there's other training, you attach it. Even your training as a lawyer, you attach it. Your training as a criminologist, you attach it. All those things are relevant. But this one that train you to be an examiner must also be attached. And if there are some cases that you have done, maybe alone or in conjunction with some people, or you have a publication. In fact, publication will make you to be seen as authority in this field. So wherever you have workshop or conference, please try as much as possible to write something. So you cite your publication. Maybe you wrote a book, or you publicize a paper. You publish a paper in a journal. Cite it. And if there's any case that you have done singly or in conjunction with some people, also cite it pertaining to this fingerprint. And if you belong also to any association, also cite it. All those things will be inside your credential. Those ones will give a weight to you and behind you as an expert in fingerprint examination, or in a forensic as a forensic examiner. So this is where we are going to stop today. The material text and this video will be uploaded and sent to you. So next class we are coming up with another course entirely. And please, if you have any question, send it, and I will still be sending some material to you for you to compare. And you on your own, get fingerprint of people around you and try to do some things on them. Even your own, let your fingerprints, let them be. You start from your own fingerprint and see that just compare one to the other. As you are doing this one, you begin more experience about how to do. You'll be faster. Becoming faster and becoming intimate with how to do the work. And I will advise you, sir, you get some devices that will be helping you. In fingerprint, you don't need much instrument like other examination. In fingerprint examination, you don't need much. The major thing that you need is a good computer system and magnifying lens. Those are the major. All other things you can do without them. So if there's any other thing, please. And if you want to set up fingerprint laboratory, please let us know. We can assist in doing that. God bless you. Till the next class.